He underwent a profound life review and received invaluable lessons from a divine source. Without further ado, let's immerse ourselves in Roger's extraordinary encounter. I go by the name Roger. If you told me that the simple act of mowing my lawn could lead to a life-altering experience, I'd have laughed it off. See, I'm a creature of habit, spent a good 35 years punching the same clock, residing in the same old house. Spirituality, not really my cup of tea. Now, let me tell you about that day. It started off just like any other, mundane and unremarkable. But then, out of the blue, I was hit with this searing pain in my chest. It felt like a sledgehammer slamming into me. Naturally, I hit the brakes, utterly bewildered. Next thing I knew, darkness swallowed me whole. But it wasn't your typical darkness. It was like being engulfed in a void, devoid of light and sound. And then, just as suddenly, I found myself somewhere else entirely. It was unlike anything I'd ever seen. Colors danced around me, casting a serene aura over everything. And the strangest part, I felt no pain, no fear, just an overwhelming sense of curiosity. Where am I? How did I get here? I muttered to myself, though my voice seemed to vanish into thin air. That's when it hit me. This wasn't your run-of-the-mill experience. It was as if I transcended the bounds of the physical world. With a tentative step, or was it a float, I made my way towards a dazzling light, beckoning me with an inexplicable sense of love that touched the deepest recesses of my soul. As I drew closer to the light, the scenery morphed into something out of a dream, vibrant, ethereal, and utterly breathtaking. It felt like every joyful moment of my existence had been distilled into this single transcendent moment. And there, amidst this splendor, I beheld him, Jesus, not the distant figure from paintings or the distant echoes of Sunday sermons, but a presence suffused with pure love and acceptance. His welcome embraced me like a warm embrace, filling me with a sense of belonging unlike anything I'd ever known. He posed a question that cut to the core of my being. What had I learned in this journey called life? I found myself at a loss for words, but deep down, I sensed that I was about to embark on a journey through my own past, viewing it through the lens of the lives I'd touched. And so the reel began to roll, transporting me back to a forgotten moment from my childhood, a time when I, in my ignorance, had tormented a boy named Michael, his poverty making him an easy target for ridicule. It's astounding how callous we can be, especially in our youth. I watched in silent anguish as my words pierced him, witnessing the pain etched in his eyes and, for the first time, feeling the weight of my actions bear down upon me. Jesus revealed to me the ripple effect of that pivotal moment, illustrating how it had molded Michael's self-esteem, impacted his relationships, and shaped the trajectory of his life. It was a profound lesson on the potency of our words and deeds, a stark reminder that our actions reverberate far beyond what meets the eye. As the review unfolded, Jesus imparted upon me a revelation that would redefine my very existence, that love reigns supreme above all else. It wasn't about the church I frequented, the prayers I recited, or the rules I adhered to. No, it was about the love I extended, the kindness I bestowed, and the empathy I demonstrated towards others. In this celestial realm, where love pulsed through the air like a palpable force, I grasped that this was the true metric of a life well lived. Religion, with its rituals and doctrines, served merely as conduits, avenues through which love could be expressed and experienced. Love, I understood, was the essence, the heartbeat of our existence and our ultimate purpose. The return to earth was jarring, to say the least. One moment, I basked in the ineffable tranquility of heaven, engaged in conversation with Jesus. The next, I found myself grappling for breath in the sterile confines of a hospital chamber, the incessant beeping of machines echoing in my ears. The dichotomy was stark, yet within me, a fundamental shift had occurred. In the days that ensued, as I convalesced, it wasn't the physical agony that monopolized my thoughts, but rather the spiritual awakening that had taken root within me. The life review, the encounter with Jesus, and the revelation that love forms the crux of God's message. They had left an indelible mark on my soul. Discharged from the hospital with a newfound lease on life, I understood that my quest to embody the tenets of heaven was only just commencing. I hadn't metamorphosed into a paragon of virtue overnight. My flaws, my bouts of temper, and the lingering vestiges of pride persisted. Yet there existed a divergence, a heightened awareness, and a conscious decision to strive towards a life governed by love. The litmus test presented itself soon enough. Back in familiar environs, I found myself slipping into old habits, succumbing to impatience over trivial matters, and wrestling with the familiar specters of ego and pride. But now, a new voice resonated within me, a gentle nudge, a poignant reminder of the boundless perspective I had been granted. Each stumble served as a prompt to recall Jesus' counsel, not as admonishment, but as guidance. Love, he had asserted, was the linchpin of existence, the sole arbiter of significance. This didn't entail forsaking my faith or the rituals that had long been ingrained in my life. Rather, it entailed a reevaluation, a reframing of these practices as vehicles for fostering love and extending service to others. I immersed myself in volunteer work, endeavored to mend fractured relationships, sought atonement with those I had wronged, including the boy from my childhood, and conscientiously endeavored to discern the divine spark in every individual, even those whose company I found taxing. Perhaps the most profound shift occurred within me, how I perceived myself. The life review laid bare the ramifications of my actions, dredging up the painful recollections of my childhood transgressions. It underscored the immutable truth. While I couldn't rewrite the past, I wielded the power to shape the future through choices steeped in love. This epiphany ushered in a newfound humility and an earnest endeavor to extend forgiveness, both to myself and to others. My journey was fraught with its share of trials. Doubt often loomed large, exacerbated by the skepticism of those around me. Yet the celestial encounter had endowed me with an unwavering bedrock of faith in the supremacy of love, a conviction impervious to doubt's relentless assault. In recounting my tale, I harbor no illusions of saintliness or flawlessness. I remain, as ever, a work in progress, flawed, fallible, and perpetually evolving. What transpired in the realm beyond was a revelation that love, not perfection, serves as the litmus test in the eyes of the divine. It is our capacity to love, despite our imperfections, that defines us in the cosmic ledger. In the grand tapestry of existence, my brush with mortality wasn't merely a return to the realm of the living. It was an awakening to the incontrovertible truth that love reigns supreme, the most potent force in the cosmos. It constitutes the essence of our being, the quintessence of all spiritual wisdom, and the ultimate lesson of our mortal sojourn. As I press onward along this path, I do so cognizant of the inevitability of missteps. Yet the trajectory of my journey has been irrevocably altered, guided by the simple yet profound axiom that love, above all else, holds sway in the eyes of the divine. And with that, I draw the curtains on today's discourse. I eagerly await your reflections and insights in the comments below. Until we meet again, may you tread the path of love with steadfast resolve, and may blessings